Hello everyone, this is Endgame Art with another box with another breakdown of the demo. This is Rock of Ages 3 Make and Break for the PlayStation 4. Now this is the base vanilla version of the game, so the on-disc version is 1.00, and it was a pretty good size update. This update size was 400 megabytes big and will take you to version 1.02 since the making of this video. Now you can be pretty sure there will be more updates down the road of this game, so please expect that if you get a newer copy down the road. Now, the update does fix a slew of bug fixes, alterations, and balancing, as well as adding a little alterations to the main game. Now, I did play the entire game without this update, and my experience was not the greatest, but I did beat the entire experience. Now, when you do update the game, and I did test it, it does fix a slew of the problems that I experienced. Now, to jump right into it about the game. Rock of Ages 3 Make and Break is the most fun I've had by not having fun. It's the best way I can describe my experience with the game. Rock of Ages 3 wasn't necessarily a bad game, but it didn't really do anything that really blew me away in terms of mechanics and just design of the game. Now, the game has a lot of characteristics and a lot of style and just charismatic in terms of it's got a very charming presentation for its experience with some interesting cutscenes and so forth, and the environment of just all these historical and future as well as beginning of time stuff going on, and some average boss fights, but they do fix it in terms of the update. But to get into the experience of the game without updating it, the game is got quite a few bugs. I have had where the game would break or crash. I had to start the game up or over. I had the game main menu lock up, so I had to X out the game and come back in. As well as that, there was a few times where I even was near the end of beating my opponent, and the game bugged out, and I wasn't able to complete the level. That's just minor stuff. AI, the opponent in the game, is not intelligent. There is literally no difficulty in this game. I actually thought that I had the game actually on easy, and it turns out I actually had it on hard the entire time. Don't expect any challenge from computer, as well as the game has massive frame rate drops. That depends on how many obstacles are in the environment and so forth, so depending, sometimes you can be a little bit more balanced in how you want to put stuff to make sure you won't have frame rate issues, but please expect frame rate issues. It gets pretty rough on the frame rate part. Now, what's disappointing is that, like I said, when I updated the game, it fixed a lot of these problems. The problem is that when you update the game, you notice that they really add and balance and alter a lot of things to the game. It really feels like the version you get on disc is just the beta version of the game, and then the update you get is the actual release version of the game. So it's very disappointing that the on-disc version of this version of Rock of Ages 3 Make and Break is not a very good enjoyable experience on disc. Yes, you might have a better experience if you update it, but here at Endgame Arts, we play what's on the disc or cartridge, regardless of what features or things they would fix through an update. Now, in the game, you play as a boulder, and you gotta ram yourself against your enemy's wall, and as you're waiting for your crew to build you a new boulder, you lay down traps and obstacles for your computer opponent. Or you can even play against people as well, or go online. This game has a little bit more focus on the online perspective, and that's why probably the AI in the game isn't very challenging or interesting or difficult. They immediately expect you just to play online for any kind of competition in the game. But some of the traps and stuff like that you lay out in the game, some of them are hit and miss to me. Some of them are really cool and interesting, but there's not a lot of value in terms of laying them down at times. And even some of them even seem, if you have an intelligent opponent, seem they more aid the opposition than really be an obstacle for them. And it's just, some of them just get destroyed really easily, and you'd rather would have obstacles that stick around a lot more. As well as that, the boulder, there wasn't very many variations in terms of boulder. Now, granted, the game, like I said, was buggy, and I could not unlock any more boulders in the game. I only unlocked like 4 or 5 of them, and there was like a ton more on the screen that I guess either I couldn't unlock them because of bugs, or you had to pay for them as a DLC item. And I really didn't experience any alterations in terms of that, where all the boulders just either were really just cumbersome to use, or just they didn't really feel all that different. So, like I said, that's what's weird though. But even though I really didn't enjoy myself, I still completed the game and played it all the way to the end. That's why I call it the most fun I had by not having fun. It was still fun and rewarding just to play it and to complete all the stars and everything, and get all the stars, mastering everything and so forth, unlocking all the abilities. But at the end of the day, nothing felt memorable. Nothing left me wanting to come back. I do admit the game has a pretty good soundtrack in the game. If you're somebody who loves video game soundtracks, you might want to look into the soundtrack to Rock of Ages 3. It's pretty good, actually. What's also is disappointing is the overall price for this buggy game, of course, as well as that it is disappointing that it doesn't come with Rock of Ages 1 and 2. I would have probably put a little bit more value, as well as you don't need to play 1 and 2 to get the story or anything like that. There really isn't a story, but I think it would have put at least some kind of value to the game of buying the Rock of Ages 3 Make and Break. Now, as it says, make and break, you can make your own levels in the game, which is actually kind of cool. Now, if you update it, it does fix some of the cumbersome, but you can, even if you don't update it, you can still make levels, and it's pretty neat how they work. You can have your own, like, competition and so forth, and again, then you play offline or online with your levels and so forth. But please keep in mind, you do need PlayStation Plus if you want to play community-made levels. So even if you're not even playing online against people, you still can't access any of the community-made levels unless you have PlayStation Plus. So please bear that in mind. That's very disappointing, as you may not even be playing online. You're just doing community stuff. So, like I said, Rock of Ages 3 is an alright game. I personally said I did complete it, or at least what I could complete it, because again, I came across another bug that prevented me from unlocking everything, as well as getting all the stars. I even had a bug where it was actually a beneficial bug, where there was a time trial in the game where you got to try to beat the level in a certain amount of time and get the gold to get 3 stars. The game bugged out, like I guess the racetrack in the game, where no matter what my time was, I was automatically getting a gold, even though it took me forever to beat the level. So I guess there was a beneficial bug in that. So, and as well, I do think there is a bug where it prevented me from unlocking certain trophies, because there are certain things I could have sworn I did and I didn't get a trophy for. So, again, the game is really buggy and a mess on disc. Now, yes, the game does be fixed a lot of this with the update and so forth, and there'll probably be more updates down the road. But what's disappointing is that this is, of course, another indie developed game, and I generally try to be understanding and supportive of indie developers. They don't got the big budget and so forth, or the manpower and team to release pristine games as what we should expect from a AAA game. But we're seeing more of this, where indie games are now trying to rush out their game out there, and with bugs and DLC or updates and microtransactions from even the indie developers out there now. So it's very disappointing to me to see even the indie developers that were seen as the new generation of gaming, as these are new studios and so forth, proving themselves, are now falling down the hole of AAA studios for releasing unfinished games, bugs and so forth, and the idea of release it now, fix it later, and now even including a bunch of DLC and updates and so forth, and now microtransactions like with Rocket League and so forth. It's just disappointing to see that they've even have fallen into doing the same thing. Not all indie developers, but not all AAA developers either are the scums of the earth in the marketing business. But Rock of Ages 3, if you're into it, they might be something you can pick up as a used copy or a bargain bin or so forth. Don't pay full price, especially if you're someone like me who's a collector and like to play what's on disc. If you probably can pick it up and don't mind updating it, which even if you're like me, you don't update games, I still probably recommend updating it just so you can get a better experience than what I got from it. So, but I will try to leave links down in the description if you're interested copy. My recommendation is not to buy it. Just hold off. Don't even really get it. Even if you come across a used copy, maybe we'll come down the road and we'll have like a complete edition, Game of the Year edition, or whatever they want to call it. The actual full version, not the beta version of the game. So, like always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next unboxing video. Bye-bye!